Hello, respected viewers. It's George from Ireland here. Anyway, this is about the infamous Christmas party held at number 10 Downing Street almost a year ago, when various Downing Street staff flagrantly breached lockdown. A party on the 18th of December, that even one on the 23rd of November. Remember, most of England was in Tier 3 at the time. However, I am informed that Downing Street, being Crown land, was exempt from the Coronavirus Act. And so from this a temporary provision prohibiting these social gatherings. So therefore, I think legally they're in the clear. I could be wrong about that. But even if it was lawful to hold such a soiree, it's certainly the visuals are very bad for the government. Morally, there's no difference. Now, I know part of the argument is that these people, they work together anyway, so it makes no difference them staying on for a few hours in the evening and socialising. But in those times, you're only meant to work in person when that was unavoidable, if your job was not the kind which could be done remotely. And actually, a lot of their jobs about communication or strategic stuff could be done remotely. But a lot of these journalists who are fiercely agitating for lockdown were insisted that the journalists must have an exemption to do these in-person press conferences. Well, press conferences can be done virtually. You could do them all online. Anyway, but there's nevertheless being an investigation. The Paymaster General Michael Ellis is looking into that, saying there's potential criminality. So perhaps I've been misinformed with the claim that there was an exemption for that area, just Downing Street, because it's Crown land. Number 10 Downing Street being the official residence of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So the Labour Party has said that the Prime Minister should stand down if it turned out he's lied to Parliament, because remember, Boris Johnson's line until very recently is that no such gathering took place. Now, Bojo wasn't present, nobody's alleged that. The solids hit the fan in a more serious way very recently when a video emerged of Allegra Stratton, the Prime Minister's spokeswoman, when she was prepping for a press conference and her colleagues were posing as journalists, throwing questions at her, and she's being very facetious about this party, this fictitious party. Oh, it never happened, and was there cheese and wine? I went home, which might have been true. I don't know if she was present at the party or not, but treating the whole thing as a great wheeze. And this was the material time was the 18th of December, a day in which 400 people died of coronavirus. Now, to be more accurate, many people will die with coronavirus rather than of coronavirus. So Allegra Stratton has subsequently fallen on her sword. I'm guessing that she resigned, otherwise she was going to be sacked. So Simon Case is a high-ranking civil servant who's going to be inquiring into exactly what transpired. So Allegra Stratton, well, hard to feel too sorry for her. It's emerged that she has well over £1 million worth in property and maybe be snapped up by some other media outlet. So I don't think she can be jobless for too long. Anyway, so Jacob Rees-Mogg, who's the leader of the House of Commons, he got his bum smacked not long ago for quipping about social events and whether they're going to be investigated by the police. So, I mean, a lot of us had to miss out, didn't get to do things that we wanted to do. So why should the people formulating policy get away with it? I disagree with many of the lockdown regulations, but I still obeyed them, and they should obey them too. And so it behoves them, who are so involved in decision making, to practice what they preach. And so the optics of this are bad for the government at a time when the government's popularity is slipping. That's the life cycle. Generally speaking, a governing party's popularity would be very much in decline. It's almost 2 years since the last election. So anyway, the Metropolitan Police says they're not going to investigate, saying that there's no evidence of criminal wrongdoing at the moment, though that could change. I'm kind of astonished about that. So the unfortunate thing for Allegra Stratton is someone was actually filming that rehearsal for a press conference, and that video was leaked just days ago. Had that not been filmed and not been leaked, then she would have been in the clear. I mean, there wouldn't have been such hard evidence. So Prime Minister Johnson had told people again and again that no party was held and no coronavirus rules were breached, which now is shown to be flagrantly bogus. Was he ignorant? Well, it's his job to know what's going on. Respondeat superior. Therefore, a superordinate person is held responsible for the acts of subordinate people. And if he didn't know, he ought to have known, and he's still responsible. If he can't control his team, then he's unworthy to be in charge. Remember, London was under stringent lockdown. You couldn't socialise with people indoors who were outside your support bubble. So they're looking into it to determine exactly what took place. There's other news. I mean, Boris Johnson, he's got some joyous tidings in that his good wife was delivered of a child. This girl, they've not yet named the baby. The optics are certainly bad for the party. The Liberal Democrats are also pressurising them. So the Conservatives are a bit behind in the polls, won that by-election in Old Bexley and Sidcup, but it was an ultra-safe Conservative seat, probably one of the safest ones in London, but 10 percentage points down. There's that by-election in Shropshire North. It's hard to see the Conservatives are losing this true blue seat on the Welsh border, a large rural area. But again, probably the Conservative majority will be cut considerably. If they do lose it, it'll be a political earthquake, because Labour hasn't held that one since 1945. Anyway, so if people at the top aren't going to obey the rules, why should anybody else? So this is yet more embarrassment. It's becoming increasingly different to shrug off. And why is it that Bojo stands by his people when they've done so wrong? You might remember Dominic Cummings, one of his gurus when it came to Brexit, who broke lockdown by a mere 300 miles driving for an eye test, almost as though he couldn't have got his eyes tested in London. And Bojo stood by him for about a fortnight. Well, I mean, Cummings kept his job actually for months, and Bojo said, this'll pass, and finally the media furore calmed down, as it did. Bojo's a very seasoned journalist, will know that, and it didn't seem to damage the party very much in the long term, but he was the Teflon Prime Minister, that any inaccuracy, any inanity, any dishonesty, that was just water off a duck's back. But I think some of it is starting to stick. So they have to get some new media advisors in there. Would you vote for Keir Starmer? I would not vote for Sir Keir Starmer, though I do respect him. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, said the other day that the United Kingdom is run by a clown, or as he would say, un clown. And that's fair enough. Bojo is deeply unserious. I read an article by Jess Phillips, a senior Labour figure, one of my least favourite politicians, saying, I don't know why Boris Johnson came into politics. Well, I do, because he's a showman, and this guarantees him an audience of 70 million. The population in the United Kingdom, of course, he's very well known overseas. Not that he believes or disbelieves in anything, as Sir Nick Clegg said that Boris is Trump with a thesaurus. So it's really about self-aggrandizement. It's not about the furtherance of any cause, or even, advancing himself beyond his own ego. So that's it. Just do whatever it takes to be elected. Remember, he's a man of vaulting ambition. In the 1980s, when he was an Oxonian, his ambition was to be elected president of the United States. Stranger things have happened. Well, look at Trump, because, of course, Bojo was born in New York to British parents. He was a dual American and British citizen, though he's since renounced it. That is the great point. And he's a showman, and in England people do pay attention to people like him. Exactly. A shameless, showboating charlatan. That's enough from me, so please subscribe to my channel. I got a dash. I got a Christmas party to attend to. Legal this year. All right. Toodaloo. Goodbye.